So, King Charles basically took Camilla's crown, not the physical one, but the actual power that comes with it, and handed it directly to Catherine, Princess of Wales. The way it happened was reportedly far more calculated than anyone expected. The part that stands out is that Camilla allegedly made one final desperate demand to secure her position. However, the palace did not just reject it, they dismissed it without any serious discussion. It was not treated as a personal disagreement, it was viewed as an institutional decision. When you look back at how everything unfolded, the situation appears less like a sudden betrayal and more like a carefully developing plan that has been taking shape for years while the public focused on other royal controversies. Before we get into the details, if you're new here on UK Update, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next deep dive. Now, let's rewind to the part of the story that many people overlook. To understand why the palace is reportedly facing tension, we need to look back at the details surrounding 2005. Camilla was never originally expected to become queen. This was not some hidden secret or conspiracy theory. It was part of the public understanding created when she and King Charles had their civil ceremony. At the time, the official message from the palace was that she would be known as Princess Consort, not Queen. Queen Elizabeth II later expressed her wish that Camilla, Duchess of Cornwall, would eventually be known as Queen Consort, but the original public expectation was that she would hold the title of Princess Consort. That distinction mattered. The royal family was not simply trying to appear humble with that decision. They were deeply concerned about public reaction. They knew that the legacy of Princess Diana still held enormous public support, and introducing Queen Camilla immediately after Diana's death would have been extremely controversial. That promise, like many statements made behind palace walls, became a major part of the ongoing royal debate. When public opinion is at stake, promises can sometimes last only as long as a New Year's resolution. According to critics, that commitment faded the moment ambition entered the picture. When Queen Elizabeth II passed away in 2022, King Charles ascended the throne and Camilla became Queen Consort alongside him. The previous understanding that she would be known as Princess Consort was replaced, and the palace presented the change as a natural progression. Some observers viewed the transition as unexpected, believing that the original arrangement had been quietly abandoned. After years of being one of the most controversial figures in Britain and being closely associated with the struggles surrounding Princess Diana, Camilla ultimately received the title of Queen Consort. However, despite having the crown and the official status, reports claimed that Camilla still faced limitations behind palace walls. Some palace insiders alleged that she was not always included in major discussions typically associated with the role of a queen. Her office was reportedly not involved in certain areas, including succession planning, the monarchy's long-term direction, charity decisions, public messaging, and strategic choices. While she received the title, the jewelry, and her place at official events, some suggested that the true decision-making power remained elsewhere. The impression was that Camilla could represent the monarchy publicly, but the most important decisions were still controlled by others. Meanwhile, the relationship between Camilla and Catherine, Princess of Wales, was often presented to the public as a warm and supportive friendship. But the reality behind closed doors was allegedly much more distant. According to some reports, the relationship between Camilla and Catherine, Princess of Wales, was more of a formal arrangement than a genuinely close friendship. The two women came from completely different worlds. They remained polite whenever they appeared together, as royal protocol requires, but they were not necessarily the type of people who would spend private time together chatting about palace life. To outside observers, their interactions sometimes appeared more like two diplomats exchanging polite greetings for the cameras rather than close family members sharing a personal bond. Once the public appearances ended, their paths reportedly returned to separate directions. However, behind the scenes, things were allegedly beginning to shift in a quiet but significant way. If their relationship was never truly close, some questioned whether that distance would eventually lead to a change in the balance of power within the royal family. While much of the world was focused on Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's ongoing media attention, including documentaries, interviews, and public statements, another development was reportedly taking place within the monarchy. Catherine, Princess of Wales, was not simply appearing at events, smiling for cameras, and carrying out ceremonial duties. She was gradually building influence, respect, and a stronger position within the institution. This was not just about fashion, appearances, or public image. According to some sources, it was part of a long-term strategy to establish herself as one of the most important figures in the future of the monarchy. While others were focused on short-term controversies, Catherine was allegedly playing the long game. While others were busy arguing over podcast titles, interview comments, and old controversies, Catherine, Princess of Wales, was reportedly taking a very different approach behind the scenes. It was remarkable to watch someone transform what many viewed as traditional royal appearances into a more strategic role, while other members of the family were dealing with public disputes and media attention. Her early childhood project was not simply another royal initiative where she attached her name to a charity and appeared once a year for a photograph. Instead, Catherine brought together scientists, researchers, and government officials to discuss neuroscience, child development, and the long-term impact of early experiences. This represented a more serious move into policy-focused work than many expected from a member of the royal family. It allowed her to participate in discussions where the title of princess alone was not enough. Expertise and results mattered. Rather than focusing only on traditional charity appearances, Catherine began emphasizing research, data, and social impact. Supporters argued that she was actively developing projects, following through on commitments, and proving herself as one of the monarchy's most capable representatives. Then came the health crisis that changed everything. In early 2024, news emerged that Catherine, Princess of Wales, had been diagnosed with cancer following abdominal surgery. She later shared publicly that she had undergone major abdominal surgery in London, and while doctors initially believed the condition was not cancerous, further testing revealed the diagnosis. The announcement sent shockwaves through the institution. The public reaction was far greater than a typical royal health update, with many people expressing genuine concern and support. For some, it was a reminder of the emotional connection the public once felt with Princess Diana, showing how deeply people still cared about members of the royal family. The death of Diana, Princess of Wales, created one of the most powerful waves of public emotion ever seen surrounding the royal family. That level of grief was rare. People openly cried and left flowers outside Kensington Palace without any official campaign or media direction telling them to do so. It was not simply a carefully managed public relations moment. It was a genuine emotional response from people who felt a strong connection to her. For many, it showed the unique place Princess Diana continued to hold in the public's heart. The way Catherine, Princess of Wales, handled her own health battle reportedly strengthened her position, not only with the public, but also within palace circles. She remained composed, released a personal message, took time to recover, and protected her children from unnecessary attention while facing an incredibly difficult situation. By late 2024, reports suggested that King Charles, who was also dealing with his own cancer diagnosis, had begun reflecting on the future of the monarchy. The question was reportedly becoming, who truly had the public's trust and the resilience needed to guide the institution through difficult times? For many observers, Catherine appeared to be gaining confidence and respect because of the way she handled her challenges with dignity and strength. Inside the palace, the conversation reportedly shifted toward who could carry the responsibilities of the monarchy in the years ahead. According to some insiders, the answer was becoming increasingly clear. Catherine was rising in influence, while Camilla was beginning to feel that the balance of power was changing. It was not because of one dramatic confrontation or a single argument. Instead, the shift was described as gradual, a change in atmosphere where advisors were reportedly turning to different offices for important discussions and decisions. While Camilla continued to maintain her role, the palace was allegedly moving in another direction. By spring 2025, speculation about an internal royal restructuring had grown. Reports claimed that King Charles was increasingly relying on Catherine, Princess of Wales, for a greater share of important responsibilities. This was not simply about attending more charity events or taking on additional public appearances. It represented a broader shift in influence within the royal institution. This was described as a deliberate move to reduce Camilla's institutional influence and transfer more responsibility to her daughter-in-law, Catherine, Princess of Wales, who had become one of the most popular members of the royal family. Royal observers reportedly questioned whether this was simply a temporary adjustment or a long-term change. To some, it appeared less like a short-term solution and more like a permanent shift in the balance of power within the monarchy. The most significant part of this reported change involved royal patronages. In the royal world, patronages are not just personal interests or activities listed on a resume. They represent important connections between members of the royal family, charities, organizations, and public causes. Holding major patronages is considered a key part of a royal's role and public identity. According to reports, some important patronages connected to the arts, literature, and healthcare were allegedly moved from Camilla to Catherine. These were causes that Camilla had supported for many years, dedicating time, effort, and her public reputation to them. Losing those responsibilities would represent more than a simple schedule change. It would mark a major transformation in her royal role. Some critics claimed that the palace was effectively rewriting the structure of influence and giving Catherine a greater platform within the institution. Beyond the patronages, reports suggested there was another important shift involving access and communication. Previously, Catherine, Princess of Wales, was said to have worked through formal channels when engaging with senior royal advisors, which is standard protocol for a future queen consort. However, reports claimed that her access and involvement were beginning to expand. According to reports, Catherine, Princess of Wales, was beginning to be included in conversations that had previously been considered the exclusive responsibility of King Charles and Camilla. The advisory circles surrounding King Charles were allegedly expanding in one direction, toward Catherine and, by extension, Prince William. For many experienced royal observers, the meaning of this shift was clear. The suggestion was that King Charles was not simply preparing Catherine as a future member of the monarchy, but was recognizing her importance in the present moment and bringing her closer to major discussions and decisions. However, none of these claims were officially confirmed by Buckingham Palace. The royal family traditionally does not publicly reveal internal discussions or announce changes in influence and decision-making structures. Instead, the monarchy often communicates through actions rather than detailed explanations. Changes in responsibilities, public appearances, and institutional roles can sometimes reveal shifts without any formal announcement. According to some royal commentators, the overall pattern of events was becoming difficult to dismiss as coincidence. They believe the changes suggested a broader transformation taking place within the institution. Meanwhile, reports claimed that Camilla was watching these developments closely. Behind her calm and composed public image, one she had worked hard to maintain after decades of public criticism, there was reportedly growing concern about her changing position. According to these claims, a response from Camilla was coming, and it would become one of the most significant decisions she had made since her marriage to King Charles at Windsor. This was the moment when, according to some reports, tensions behind the scenes began to surface. Sources cited by royal commentator Angela Levin, who has covered King Charles and the royal family for years, claimed that Camilla eventually demanded a written. Camilla was not asking for a simple birthday message or a private reassurance over dinner. According to these claims, she allegedly wanted a written guarantee that her position, responsibilities, and status within the monarchy would remain protected. The request was reportedly about securing her role amid Catherine, Princess of Wales' growing influence and changing public opinion. Some observers described it as a formal safeguard at a time when the royal family was already facing health concerns, public scrutiny, and internal pressure. Royal insiders allegedly viewed the request as an ultimatum presented in careful, diplomatic language. The suggestion was that Camilla wanted official confirmation that her place and influence would remain secure rather than relying only on verbal assurances. She reportedly wanted her position documented and protected through a formal agreement. However, according to these claims, the response was a firm rejection. There was reportedly no dramatic confrontation or public argument. Instead, The decision was described as a calm and professional response from the palace, with the message that the monarchy needed to remain flexible and able to adapt to future circumstances. Supporters of this approach argued that a permanent written agreement could limit the institution's ability to respond to changing public expectations, future leadership transitions, or the evolving needs of the monarchy. The reported explanation was that refusing the request was ultimately in the institution's best interest. Critics, however, interpreted it differently, suggesting that Camilla could keep her title and public role but would not receive guaranteed control over future decisions. According to these reports, the palace was unwilling to formally secure her influence over charities, advisors, or internal decision-making because doing so could make future changes more difficult. The message, as portrayed by some commentators, was that the monarchy wanted the freedom to adjust its structure whenever necessary, even if that meant reducing Camilla's influence over time. According to these claims, Camilla was reportedly extremely upset, but she did not respond with a public outburst. Instead, she allegedly displayed a quiet and controlled anger, the kind that comes after years of facing intense public criticism and learning to remain composed under pressure. There were no public confrontations or damaging leaks to the media. Instead, reports suggested that Camilla chose silence. People familiar with palace life claimed that her silence carried a clear message, distant, deliberate, and emotionally charged. While Camilla remained quiet, King Charles was reportedly continuing to shape a future for the monarchy that appeared to place greater emphasis on Prince William and Catherine, Princess of Wales. This raised questions about where Camilla would fit into the monarchy's long-term direction. Since becoming king, Charles has frequently spoken about his vision for a slimmer and more efficient monarchy. His goal has been described as reducing costs, increasing accountability, and focusing on a smaller group of senior royals who can deliver meaningful results. This was not simply a modern idea mentioned in speeches or interviews. It represented a broader approach to how the institution could operate in the future. Supporters of this vision argued that the monarchy was becoming clearer about who would remain at the center of public life and who might gradually take on a less prominent role. From King Charles's perspective, the future of the monarchy was reportedly not only about his partnership with Camilla, but about ensuring the institution could continue successfully for future generations. That focus increasingly appeared to be on Prince William and Catherine, Princess of Wales, two figures seen by many supporters as having strong public trust and the ability to represent a modern monarchy. According to this perspective, they represented a balance between experience and youth, mature enough to project stability, while still connected to a changing world. Some reports suggested that King Charles was taking an active role in supporting Catherine's development as a senior royal. Rather than simply offering encouragement from the sidelines, he was allegedly involved in reviewing speeches, helping create opportunities, and supporting her return to public duties after her health challenges. Her recovery from cancer was also viewed by some observers as an opportunity for the monarchy to rebuild public confidence and strengthen its connection with people. King Charles was reportedly treating Catherine, Princess of Wales, as a key figure in the future of the monarchy, similar to how a leader might invest in a chosen successor who represents the next generation. According to these claims, Charles believed that Catherine and Prince William were central to maintaining the monarchy's relevance in the years ahead. When it comes to Camilla, reports suggested that she holds a complicated position within this future vision. She has earned respect in some circles and demonstrated remarkable resilience after decades of intense public criticism. Over time, Camilla managed to transform a deeply negative public image into a more accepted role within the royal family. However, her age, history, and the lasting impact of the Princess Diana era have continued to shape how some people view her place in the monarchy. According to this perspective, Camilla represents the monarchy's present, while the future is increasingly associated with Catherine and the generation she represents. This reported shift has placed Camilla in a challenging position, as she watches her influence potentially change with limited ability to prevent the transition. Beyond strategy and royal politics, there is also a deeper personal history connected to these developments, one that continues to influence public perception. That presence is Princess Diana. The irony for many observers is that, after decades of attempts to move forward, The monarchy's next chapter is being shaped by a figure who often reminds the public of Diana and the legacy she left behind. Any discussion of the modern royal family is difficult without acknowledging the impact Princess Diana has had since her death in 1997. Although she has been gone for decades, her influence remains powerful. For many people, Diana is not just a memory, but a major part of the story surrounding the monarchy's public image and its relationship with the people. Some believe that the very figure the institution once struggled to manage remains one of the strongest influences on how royal figures are viewed today. When Catherine, Princess of Wales, revealed her cancer diagnosis in early 2024, the public reaction was overwhelming. Many people expressed deep concern and began drawing comparisons between Catherine and Princess Diana, especially regarding their connection with the public. The public reaction to Catherine, Princess of Wales, was often compared to the overwhelming response following the death of Princess Diana, a comparison that, while uncomfortable for some, reflected the deep emotional connection many people feel towards certain members of the royal family. When Princess Diana died following a car crash in Paris in 1997, the world was shaken. The grief was not simply a carefully managed public response. It was a genuine outpouring of emotion from millions of people who felt a personal connection with her. Many admire Diana because she often appeared relatable and compassionate despite living within the highly controlled environment of the monarchy. Her ability to connect with ordinary people became one of the defining aspects of her public image. Years later, when Catherine, Princess of Wales, revealed her health struggles, many people experienced a similar wave of concern and sympathy. For some, it brought back memories of the emotional bond the public once had with Diana. While Camilla has taken on important royal responsibilities, official titles, and charitable roles, critics argue that public affection cannot simply be created through appearances or carefully managed communication. Supporters of Catherine often point to her natural connection with the public, her approach to family life, and the way she has handled difficult moments with dignity as reasons for her popularity. Some royal commentators have suggested that genuine public trust is difficult to manufacture through public relations alone. They argue that admiration is built over time through personal connection, consistency, and authenticity. According to some observers, King Charles understands the importance of public support and has considered how the monarchy's future depends on maintaining a strong connection with younger generations. Royal author Tina Brown has previously written about how the monarchy continues to deal with the lasting impact of the events surrounding Princess Diana in the 1990s. Many believe that the legacy of that era still influences how the institution operates today. For many supporters, Catherine represents a new chapter for the monarchy, younger, family-focused, and closely connected with modern audiences. Her decision to face her cancer diagnosis publicly with courage and composure strengthened the admiration many people already had for her. The cancer announcement from Catherine, Princess of Wales, marked a very different moment in royal communication. The video message she released was direct, personal, and more emotionally open than the traditional style often associated with palace statements. Catherine was not trying to become the next Princess Diana, but many supporters felt she carried a similar quality that made people connect with her: sincerity, compassion, and a sense of vulnerability. For some observers, the legacy of Diana continues to influence how the public views the royal family. Her impact has not faded with time, and the emotions connected to her story still shape expectations of modern royals. This is not necessarily because anyone within the family is intentionally working against Camilla. Instead, some argue that public feelings and expectations formed over decades have remained strong. Many people were waiting for a royal figure they could genuinely connect with again. As Catherine gained more public support, Camilla reportedly found herself facing comparisons that were difficult to escape. Regardless of her official duties, titles, or public appearances, the emotional connection many people feel toward Catherine has created a different kind of influence. The situation presents a complicated picture. Camilla spent many years working to gain acceptance within the royal family, only to face questions about how much influence she would hold in the monarchy's future. Meanwhile, Catherine was not seeking a royal power struggle. Her focus was reportedly on recovering from her health challenges, supporting her children, and continuing her responsibilities. At the same time, King Charles was portrayed as a central figure in shaping the future direction of the monarchy while also managing his own health concerns. The monarchy has survived for centuries by maintaining tradition while quietly adapting behind the scenes. However, moments of internal change can sometimes reveal the tensions involved in balancing history, public expectations, and the future. Royal history has shown many examples where individuals held prestigious titles but had limited actual influence. A crown or title does not always guarantee control, and the balance of power within royal institutions has often depended on circumstances, personalities, and public support. The palace does not necessarily need to remove Camilla publicly or create a dramatic confrontation. According to these claims, the approach would be a quieter one, gradually reducing her influence while allowing her to maintain her official title and public role. This kind of careful management has often been used by institutions to avoid open conflict while still shifting responsibilities behind the scenes. The reported changes would represent more than a simple staff adjustment or a public relations strategy. Some observers believe they reflect a broader change in the direction of the monarchy and its future priorities. According to this perspective, King Charles is placing significant focus on Catherine, Princess of Wales, viewing her and Prince William as essential figures in the next generation of the institution. Supporters of this view argue that Catherine has developed strong public trust and represents a modern image that connects with many people. If the monarchy's future depends on maintaining public support, some believe the focus will naturally move toward the figures who have the strongest connection with the public. For Camilla, this reported shift would represent a difficult transition. Rather than being removed from the royal family, she would potentially take on a more ceremonial role while William and Catherine become increasingly central to the monarchy's future. The monarchy has always depended on public acceptance, and supporters of reform argue that the institution must adapt to changing expectations. According to some commentators, King Charles understands that the survival of the monarchy in the modern era depends on focusing on members of the family who inspire the strongest public confidence. This interpretation suggests that the decisions are not simply about personal relationships or favoritism, but about long-term institutional strategy. However, behind the politics and public image, there is also a human side to the story. Camilla is not simply a symbol or a position on a chart. She has spent decades facing criticism, public judgment, and difficult comparisons, particularly because of her connection to the story surrounding Princess Diana. Whatever changes may happen within the monarchy, they involve real people, personal histories, and complex emotions. Before Camilla entered her role, the situation surrounding her was already extremely difficult. She spent years facing intense criticism in the media, being blamed and judged by the public, yet continued moving forward despite the pressure. Over time, Camilla worked to rebuild her image, remained committed to her duties, and gradually gained a level of acceptance from some members of the public. However, according to these claims, some believe that her efforts are now being overshadowed